Hello everyone and welcome to Blogger and Everything, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to what was a bit of a disappointing result, wasn't it? That 4-4 draw at home against Atleti, first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals, and in a way this kind of summed up why personally I did not want Barcelona to come up against Atletico in a semi-final of the Copa del Rey, but you have to eventually beat the best teams, and this was just one of those games where Barca really did more harm to themselves than Atleti did to them, didn't they? I mean, the first two goals in particular was just completely unnecessary, and of course the latter two as well that came after that. In particular, the fourth one could have all been avoided through just some better game management, not on the pitch but off it, because I think this was one of those matches where Hansi Flick for me just has to hold the L here. Okay, he's the reason why Barcelona lost this game. Well, I say Barcelona lost, but they didn't lose, they drew, right? But at the end of this tie, if we're looking for reasons why Barcelona get knocked out, I think that second half and the substitutions that Hansi Flick made during that second half are going to be the reason that we're going to have to settle on, because pulling off the best player on the pitch in Pedri, who was giving Atleti's midfield just a completely torrid time. I mean, up until Pedri got subbed off, you almost didn't even hear the names of some of Atleti's midfielders who suddenly just took over and started running the midfield after Pedri got off. So, Hansi Flick, that was I think it's not just that he took Pedri off, it's also some of the substitutions, the players he brought on and what he was asking them to do. Eric Garcia in that midfield, when you have a fit Casado on the bench, for me is just complete lunacy. I don't know what exactly is going on with Casado in the background. Perhaps he's one of those players as well who's missed some pre-match meetings, that kind of stuff, which we know sometimes Hansi Flick will punish the players by not playing them at all. But this was one case where, if you're not going to put Marc Casado on, do not put Eric Garcia on for him. And this isn't a slight at Eric Garcia. He's been playing well recently. I just think that was the wrong kind of match in which to introduce Eric Garcia, because he thrives more against opponents that are not going to put Barcelona on the back foot, opponents that won't push aggressively against you when you have the ball. It's just how it is, okay? And speaking of options on the bench, it's always going to be a bad look when you concede 4 goals, some of which were like proper schoolboy errors. You concede 4 goals and it all happens while your best defender is on the bench as an unused substitute. That's right, we also do have to look at that Ronald Araujo situation. I don't know exactly what's going on there between Flick and Araujo, why exactly all this is happening, but Flick is a coach and he's going to have to figure this out, because Barca still has to go and play Atletico 2 more times, both of which are the Metropolitano and both of which are must-win matches. Barca do have to go away to Atleti and get a win. So how exactly are they going to do that if Hansi Flick can't exactly seem to solve the Simeone puzzle? Because I'm going to say this, okay? Xavi, in as much as he had his flaws and you can have so many criticisms of him and what he did, he never struggled against Atleti to this extent. He knew how to get the result. And maybe that's also a reflection on some of, maybe the tactical side of things for Hansi Flick. Like maybe he should have moved to a mid-block, not so much of an aggressive high line, because, we saw how many times Sorloth got in behind. It wasn't even really a surprise when he scored the equalizer pretty late on. Once again, scoring a late goal, just, taking advantage of Barcelona's very, very high setup. But either way, I think the high setup would have worked if you kept Pedri on the pitch and if you give Pedri help in the form of Casado. So probably when you take off, You should have, so probably instead of taking off Pedri, you could have taken off Frankie. I think he was gassed by the time it was like the 80th minute. Didn't really have that much more to add. And in addition to that, Frankie, in as good as he was in this game, and he was good up until that third Atletico, I think Frankie was putting on a pretty good performance. But I get the feeling from him like he's the type of midfielder who needs reference midfielder playing next to him. He needs that person there next to him to help get the best out of him. And that's exactly what Pedri was functioning as for him, especially tonight. So when you take Pedri off and then you put Eric Garcia in there, Frankie de Jong is even way more lost than he would be usually with playing with, Casado next to him. So, it was really a huge tactical miscalculation by Hansi Flick to have pulled off Pedri, and that's where I'm going to lay the blame for this, lost opportunity. Of course, we do need to also talk about the wasted chances. Like Lewandowski should have definitely put that one chance away. The one that Rafinha created for him. It was literally as close to an open goal as you can get at this level. So, it's disappointing he couldn't put that away. Ferran as well, early on in the game, wasted a good opportunity. So there was a lot of profligacy from Barca. And also, just like I said, the nature in which the first two goals by Atleti was scored, just not good enough. You can't be doing that at this level with this caliber of opponent. So those are things Hansi Flick will have to get out of this team. And I think, like I said, he just really needs to work with Ronald Araujo, because I think going forward, Barca isn't going to be able to win matches like this without a centre-back of Araujo's defensive caliber being in there. Okay, keep Kubarsi there, that's fine, or keep Inigo there, that's fine, but you need to find a way to work Araujo into this defense, and just simply because they're that much better when he's on. Just look at the Supercopa Clásico, Barcelona, despite being a man down, was still able to stay solid, in large part because of Araujo's presence, and of course also because Hansi Flick played with a less aggressive defensive line. So that's probably about enough yapping for me. I need to go and rest, but do let me know your thoughts on what just transpired, and do you think Barcelona will be able to finish the deal, to get the win that they need at the Metropolitano? At this point in time, I'm honestly very skeptical of that, but we'll wait to see what happens. Barcelona now has to prepare for two very, very big matches now, it seems, against Real Sociedad and Benfica, and hope for the best there. But aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, and Força Barça.